It's day 15. Day 15. And I don't know, it's about 35, 40 below right now. It's really cold. And it's been a tough 2 weeks.
It's hard to pick out one of the most difficult moments on any of these expeditions. I mean, I've been in so many situations where I've been cold, hungry, tired, scared, and wanted to give up.
I didn't always look this nice. At one point in my life I looked a little more like this. So here's a fashion tip for you, and that is don't take a shower for about 6 weeks straight and you can pretty much get your hair to do whatever you like. I'm not the strongest, I'm definitely not the fastest, and for sure I was never the smartest. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, completely average in every way. So average am I that even when you stick me in a group of 8th graders, it's hard to spot which one is me. Oh, there I am. But I will say there are probably two things that are a little more unusual about myself, and that is my love of winter and also my love of camping. And I've judged the quality of my life by how many nights I get to spend in the tent. And it's my love of winter and camping that has led me to some of the more remote corners of the planet. Really what I want to do with all of you today is take a piece of that ice from these most cold and most remote corners of the globe and share them with you today. And in doing so, hopefully what you'll learn from this presentation is a little more about what life is like on an expedition, a major expedition, how unique and beautiful and pristine these places are, the North Pole, the South Pole, and Mount Everest, and then ultimately talk to you a little bit about how fragile these places are and how they're changing.
My whole expedition really is a springboard to talk about these messages that are bigger than myself.
And you left me shimmering like a diamond wedding rings, spinning dizzily down on the floor.
People ask me continuously about finding evidence of climate change and if climate change is real. We live on planet Earth and we've got that amazing atmosphere with these unique chemical properties. Less than 1% of the chemical composition of the Earth's atmosphere is those greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor. That less than 1% of the chemical composition of the Earth's atmosphere is responsible for holding in that heat. That's a positive thing. So what happens when those chemicals change? People talk about carbon dioxide levels in our atmosphere and how they've doubled in nearly the last 100 years. And what I thought I could do was go to these cold places, remember that chunk of ice, and take it and show it to you. And so 3.5 years ago, I laid out a simple goal, which was to go to the South Pole, the North Pole, and the summit of Mount Everest, all in 365 days. But the nice thing about setting a goal is that it gives you a specific point to work toward, and things that fit under that, don't fit under that goal, are superfluous. A big part of attaining this goal is understanding a little bit about each one of these places. Antarctica is the coldest place on our planet, it is the driest place on our planet, it is the windiest place on our planet. It is a land of extremes. So extreme is the weather in Antarctica that no human beings have ever lived there, which came as a little surprise to me when I was skiing along one day and found this evidence of an ancient civilization. The Arctic is a very dynamic place and constantly changing, and these sheets of ice are broken up and fractured and collide together and freeze and refreeze into a jumble of different shapes and forms and varieties. Mount Everest, on the other hand, on the border of Tibet and Nepal, is formed where two continental plates have collided and formed some of the tallest mountains in the entire world. 8 of the tallest 15 mountains in the entire world are in this area of Nepal.
The actual pictures and video from some of these places are really powerful communicators.
But luckily for me, I was not there on my own, and I've realized that through teams, we're able to accomplish so much more than we are as individuals. Just the day before, we had been dropped off on the edge of the Antarctic continent. In looking at our shadows stretch across the snow, Dong Xinglu, my team member from China, was inclined to observe 3 small souls. And that's what we were, 3 small souls in this huge Antarctic space. As I mentioned, in Antarctica, there are so many ways to fail. falling into a crevasse, getting injured, getting lost, getting disoriented, getting frostbite, hypothermia, not having the right supplies, breaking equipment. We are skiing the only people in this huge, vast space, looking out to a nearly unlimited horizon and looking at that white stretch on almost into infinity as it fades up into light blue and blue of the vault of the sky above us.
While that uncertainty may seem overwhelming from the outset, like there's going to be a crevasse or there's an avalanche, we have a lot of systems set in place ahead of time.
I've been in enough whiteouts to know how severe those circumstances are and how that can affect your balance or your ability to navigate. When you fall in Antarctica in a whiteout, you fall 3 feet to the ground and then you get back up and you keep skiing. When you fall just below the south summit here in a whiteout, you fall 3,000 feet and then you're dead. You know what? This situation sucks. I am freezing. I am hungry. I do not want to be here. I miss my mom. And so it's okay to be realistic, but don't let that realism turn to negativity. And then eventually, finally make it up to the top of Mount Everest, arriving at a little before 1 o'clock in what I can only call the biggest moment of anticlimax that I've ever had in my entire life. And as an average person, I do believe that we are all capable of incredible things.
So for me, that's a very dramatic realization to know that while these frozen places do exist, they're also changing very quickly.
There's no question that in the 21st century we need to use resources. But which resources we use and in what proportions and if they're renewable or not are cornerstone to preserving the integrity of our environment for future generations. What I've learned on these expeditions is that we are all explorers. And our job as explorers in the 21st century is not to go out and conquer these places, but it's more to protect them.
Like